welcome to the Sports Show. Mike, Max, Patrick, Royce, Luciani, and the one and only Sid Hartman. A lot to talk about on the local scene. Lots of teams in action this weekend in Sydney. We start with the Minnesota Vikings, who Mike Zimmer's a pretty good chess player, boy. He's as good a defensive coordinator in terms of mapping out a game plan as I can remember.
Well, he's got some pretty good players. I'll tell you what, that Barr kid will be a Pro Bowl player eventually. And the other kid that he played with at UCLA is almost as good.
Kendricks?
They have some great defensive players. Joseph, how the Giants ever let him go is beyond me. Harris Smith is...
He didn't even play today.
No, well, he was killed. He got killed in that game. One of the reasons they lost that Green Bay game was him. He shouldn't have been on the field.
Yeah, but you know, Patrick, a week ago we were lamenting the fact they weren't ready for prime time. A week later, they're in first place again.
Yes, and I think they're the best team in the division. Green Bay's having terrible trouble, and I was so motivated, I looked it up. Their last outdoor home playoff game was the NFC title game with the Rams after the 1976 season.
Bobby Bryant returns the kick.
Bobby Bryant, they blocked the opening early in the game. They blocked the field goal. I think Matt Blair blocked it, and Bobby Bryant goes 90 yards. That's the last time. We're going to have another home. They're going to win the division.
But there'll be heaters this time in the Bay.
Yes, they will. Yes, there will.
Remember last time?
You'll put the visitors over in the shade, and you'll be in the sun, too,
really.
right?
Exactly.
Instead of standing there next to each other. But, yeah they're, Green Bay's got big issues. Big issues.
Bigger than I thought.
Rodgers has got no faith in the guys he's throwing the ball to. He doesn't look the same. I don't know how they came in here and kicked the hell out of the Vikings, but they're in trouble. They lost to the Lions and the Bears at home. I think they're going to lose it again Thursday at Detroit. So this week at Detroit. I think it's at Detroit.
I think you're right. Yeah, Louis, this is Adrian Peterson. I got to be honest. I thought he'd be a step slow this year. Have lost. I thought maybe he'd be a 900-yard guy or something like that. But holy cow,
He's been unbelievable. But as even the broadcasters were saying today, having a year off, he probably came back even more refreshed. And he's not that old. I mean, by football standards, maybe he's getting to the 30-year mark. You're getting a little old, but the guy works so hard. Nobody works harder than him, and he's so good. He's so talented, and maybe have a year off probably helped him.
I had a nice talk with him after the loss of Green Bay. Was he petty off? he says, they want me to produce, and they won't give me the ball. If they won't give me the ball, then I can't do it. I can't make 10 yards on every play. That's my column tomorrow. Every time he kept a number of times to carry the ball, he did fantastic. When he didn't carry the ball, he didn't do fantastic.
Well, they were 2 touchdowns behind, though. That's the problem.
Right.
When they got 2 touchdowns behind, you got to put the quarterback in the shotgun formation, and then he's worthless.
And it's usually pretty tough to get yards when you're not carrying the ball.
But when you're ahead.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, he was complaining he carried the ball.
Yes, he was. He complained to
13
everybody.
times against Green Bay.
He complained to everybody. Everybody wrote about that this week.
he's going to write about it tomorrow.
Everybody wrote about it this week. I wrote my column after the game.
And tomorrow again.
I had a good talk with him.
And tomorrow again you're writing about it.
Yes, but I'm saying he has not a leg to stand on because they got behind, and when they were going to come back and almost win the game, then he fumbled. And then after that, they had to throw the ball, and he can't pass block.
I think if he carries the ball enough time, he will
What if you're
produce.
2 touchdowns behind, though, Sid?
Yeah.
And you don't have any clock left?
Yeah.
Is this the best you've seen them play defense in the last several years?
Well, they're playing great defense, but they really haven't played any great teams so far.
Well, I guess they haven't played Carolina or New
Winning
England.
team.
There's about 2 of them.
Yeah, there are not that many great teams in the league. They're playing teams that somebody that they're playing is going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're going to be pretty good teams.
Well, one reason.
And there's a lot of balance in the league. That's why they have it like it
They're
is.
8-3. There aren't many 8-3s. There aren't.
I think Zimmer's a great coach. He calls the defensive plays, not the defensive coordinator. and I think he's got some great young players. I think they've done a fantastic job drafting the last couple of years. Barr is unbelievable. That play he made down the field today, where that guy he knocked the ball out of the guy's
Play of the game.
hand, and then they intercepted it, and then he hit that Matt Ryan one time. I thought he'd never get up.
Boy, is he a disappointment. Everybody thought he was good. He's throwing like 5 interceptions in the red zone or something.
It's the wrong Matt. Hasselbeck. Hasselbeck is doing everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's too bad that Ziggy didn't donate that $11 million he gave Mike Wallace to the stadium, though, huh? The public would have had to
Nice
put
and
in
big
less.
screens.
The public would have put in. The public would have had to put in $11 million less instead of giving that money to Mike Wallace.
So who is their who is their best receiver? Do you think? Rudolph?
Diggs.
Diggs, kinda.
Not kind of. He's the best.
Yeah, but they don't. They take him away a lot.
Well, yeah, but they don't take him away. They don't throw the ball to him enough.
They don't throw the ball enough to worry about. They throw about. I
Pro
think
Football Focus had Harrison Smith as the #1 safety in football a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, we've moved on to the receiver position, but anyway.
Yeah, they got a few of them. He throws to 6 or 7 guys.
Yeah.
So he's throwing a ball 5 yards. What difference does it make?
Well, they actually got a pretty good group of receivers. When Charlie Johnson's not playing,
Jarius Wright's
you know that they got a good group there. So
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I said Pro Football Focus had Harrison Smith, the #1 safety in football. They don't have receivers. They got to run the ball. Mike Wallace has been a complete flop. Finally, Rudolph, the last couple games, as they've thrown the ball to him, that Wright and
Diggs.
have been their best receivers.
Yeah, I think Rudolph's been a little frustrated too. He wants the ball more.
Yeah, well, he wants the ball more. He drops it.
And
He
the
only
next
dropped one.
Yeah.
He dropped
He
a
only
few
dropped
balls.
I'm shocked that
He only
Wallace
dropped
has held his tongue. I guess he's just.
He hasn't said a word when I've been out
I guess
there.
he's just taking the $11 million because he's notorious.
I know,
for-
and I've seen him. I've interviewed him several times. And I've never
except
heard
you're
of
8-3.
That's the trouble.
When you're winning, it's tough
that's
for
the
him to
good
say
part.
anything.
It's-
Yeah.
because you're 8-3.
If you were losing, then you
Yeah.
could expect him
like
to
when
say
you see
something.
Chip Kelly try to bring his formula
Yeah.
from college. What happens? Why has that been such a?
Well, sometimes you got to remember that as a coach, you got to handle guys that you don't think are the easiest people to handle.
That's a
That's
big
what
key,
you get
isn't it?
paid. And he gave up a lot of talented players that maybe were a little tough for him to handle. And they go wrong, they go somewhere else and use their talent. I used to tell my coach Sonmore, I says, I don't pay you to coach 16 of these guys, I pay you to coach 4.
Yeah.
I can get a truck driver or a plumber or a
We
dentist
know what we're gonna get from the
to
16,
open
right?
the door for 16.
Yeah, 'cause we
But the
can
other
replace
4,
those guys.
That's right. They're interchangeables. The 4, many times your star players are the toughest to handle. They'll say the most, like Peterson getting upset when he doesn't get
But
the ball.
it is amazing,
that's
though,
it.
Maxie. Look at what happened to the Rams, the
Yep.
Eagles. The
Yep.
Rams came in here. We thought they were good. They're terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Like Bud Grant
And the
said,
Eagles.
players make winners, not coaches.
Which is why Bud handled them.
But you keep
And
telling us Zimmer's a great defensive coach, and that's why they have a great defense. Which is it?
He's a good defensive coach,
Okay.
but he's got players
Well, yeah,
who
sure,
can
okay.
do the job.
I agree with
He's
you.
got several players. That Joseph right now is the best nose tackle maybe in the whole league. He's got that other kid from UCLA,
Kendricks.
yeah, who's doing a fantastic
Yep.
job.
Okay. Take a break. Come back. Stay with us.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing. RSM. This is the power of being understood. This is RSM. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World. Go to BobbyandSteve'sAutoWorld.com for huge savings on everything from convenience store items to everything under the hood of your car.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots. being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made.
You're watching CW-23.
I wish it wasn't just the dark times that brought us together.
Vandal Savage is going to decimate Central City.
Flash and Arrow, heroes join forces.
Tuesday at 7 on CW-23.
Diamonds, the jewelry exchange, has thousands of GIA diamonds guaranteed the lowest price. Certified 2-carat solitaires, $59.90. 2-carat rings and studs are $39.90. And certified 3-carat rings, $7,900. Plus no interest for 12 months. The Jewelry Exchange in Eagan.
Do you need a car but credit problems are holding you back? CarHop can help with a super low down payment and fast approval. We understand buying a car is a big decision. With a 7-day money-back guarantee and an outstanding warranty, you know you've made the right choice. Fast approval and the peace of mind of a money-back guarantee and a great warranty. Call or visit carhop.com today.
CarHop, cars and credit to go. Cars and credit to go.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second to none happy hour, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
Don't forget J.D. Hoyt's this holiday season. It's the perfect place. Maybe you want to even go by and get some gift cards. Give those away this holiday season. Make somebody happy on your list this time. J.D. Hoyt's Supper Club, chop steak, seafood, and a whole lot more. Welcome back to the sports show. You're chomping at the bit.
Well, I got to tell you, I was at the St. Thomas St. John's game yesterday, so I didn't get to see the Gopher game. But you know how I knew they were in trouble? I was driving west on 94. There were 12 minutes to go in the game when I turned on the radio, and the car traffic was backed up.
You knew you could see it, huh?
The traffic was backed up to damn near Snelling Avenue because everybody was bailing early. There must not have been anybody left in the stadium when the game ended.
There weren't many. It was a clunker game, Sydney.
They didn't leave till late.
Well, there were 12 minutes left, and I had a traffic jam, Sid.
I was there. And I made a remark to the guy sitting next to me. I can't believe these people are staying here. They didn't go until the fourth quarter.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, the game was over before that.
A traffic jam.
Yeah, it was just a game that it was not a good game.
The thing is, there's traffic jam there regardless.
Oh, you got that right. I'm going to be so happy when the
Gotta be
Vikings get in that new
stupid not
stadium.
to take that train, but I'm that stupid.
Actually, there's traffic all over the Twin Cities, so it's not just at the
But it's
university.
that getting out of, when all those roads are so small.
Did we protect the goalposts from being chopped down?
No, they
this
got
time?
chopped.
Did we stand in front of the goalposts?
No, they got them off the field.
The great
let 'em
move we
chop.
made a couple of years ago.
They
to
let them
protect
chop
the
this
goalpost.
time. That was not a good game, Sid. It just never got going.
You can't have 5 turnovers and win any kind of a game.
Yeah.
And I think Leitner was really hurt last week. And they played him because they thought that their best chance to win. But his arm, he wore a boot all week. He didn't practice all week.
The part that surprised most of us was that Wisconsin, who we now were led to believe couldn't run the football and didn't have their starting running back, ran the football all day.
Yeah. But the second half, that Nick Rallis came in there.
Gave him a spark.
And he made the difference. They got 3 points in the second half. They did nothing in the second half. But you can't. They scored.
They got 10 in the second
They
half.
scored the touchdowns on the turnovers.
Yeah, for sure.
But this running back, they kept their running back Clement at home because
Yeah.
he got in a fight.
Right, yeah.
And this kid, nobody ever heard him rush for 150 yards.
And he was quick.
He was good.
I know. I'm
they
watching
had
that
to-
going. How was he on the bench?
So he's a pretty good running back. But the biggest, I guess you'd say, disappointment was that they were playing 3 redshirt freshmen linemen
Wisconsin
on
was.
the offensive line, and they did really well. They opened some big holes.
I had a nice visit with Barry Alvarez at halftime. And I go way back with Alvarez. I've known him for years. And he said, you know, not only we've moved these guys around in positions, they're redshirt linemen, and we moved them, you know, from guard to tackle, tackle to guard, all these things. I don't think even he expected, but I think they finally just put the gauntlet down and said, we're going to be a running football team.
Biggest disappointment is when you give up the game, the 2 fumbles, they scored 2 touchdowns. They scored the field goal on a turnover. They really didn't earn a heck of a lot. They didn't have to do a heck of a lot to win that game.
So they fired Matt Limegrover and the quarterback's coach, Dombrowski. Where's the program at right now, do you think? What's the most important thing over the next few months?
Next year, they got a great schedule.
That's a big
one
help.
good thing. They don't play Michigan State. They don't play Michigan. They don't play Ohio State. They start the season with 3 non-conference games.
Winnable ones.
Huh?
Not TCU, but winnable. I mean, they're decent teams, but.
And then they don't. The schedule, if they can't win next year with that schedule, then there's something wrong.
We go to the 9 conference games next year, right?
Yep.
9 conference games. The only trouble with, you know, when we're sitting there saying we get to play Rutgers in Maryland, you know what Rutgers and Maryland are saying? We get to play Minnesota. So, I mean, you know, who knows?
Well, look at Indiana's. Indiana's playing
Made a
better.
ball game.
Illinois is playing better.
Yep.
So it's not like all these teams are getting easier now. Maybe it's the wrong time to get rid of Michigan and Michigan, you know. And
Do you like the Big Ten Conference, Louis, for football?
I like it for football. I like it a lot.
Because?
Because you're getting quality games and quality teams, and it's. If you look right now, you'll look tomorrow and you'll see the ratings. You got Iowa at 4, Michigan State at 5, and Ohio State at 6. And I think it's a coaches poll or 8 people.
But Michigan State.
That's pretty darn. That's what I said. They're 5.
Ferris has got to be the national coach of the year, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He'd
Look
win
where
or
they were
lose
last
against
year.
Michigan State. They were terrible last year. They got beat by our boys 51-14.
That's to me, that's what was the biggest surprise. Although we went in there and scored a lot of points
Yeah,
for
right.
them. And
But they didn't.
But for them to make that kind of a leap,
But you know,
that's a big leap.
just to show how close that is.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's that close to being undefeated in the Big Ten. They had every opportunity to beat Iowa. They lost 10-6. And then Northwestern gets a ball that the kid, you know, they catch it and it takes 3 steps. They call it no touchdown. I mean, that's how close the season is.
Yeah. And
Barry Alvarez told me this was the most ordinary Wisconsin team they've had in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
Well, they've been pretty good the last 5 years, so it's not like it's not like an ordinary team might be pretty good.
They didn't have Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
Didn't have one of the great running backs.
Well, the guy yesterday is pretty good.
You know who's doing okay? The big man that they happily sent down to Arkansas. He ended up, yeah, he was like 2-4 and ended up 7-5 and beat some good teams. And you know, he's got it going at Arkansas. But unfortunately for them, they're in the West with Alabama.
The
and
theory
LSU.
in Madison, though, is this Anderson set them back light years with his recruiting, and right now they can't. They're still out of that hole.
The coach they got now was Joe Maturi's #1 choice. But Joe Maturi uses, that's the one disagreement I have with Joe Maturi. Because the coach's family and their family were related, he thought he'd get criticized if he'd hire him.
But it was good for Chris to go to Pittsburgh, too.
We wouldn't have criticized Joe.
Take a break, come back. Stay with us.
Yes,
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Escape MSP, the fastest 60 minutes of your life.
Ever wonder, why do I hear but not understand? Scientists at Cambridge University discovered the answer. Inside your cochlea, there are thousands of tiny hearing hair cells. Poor hearing occurs when regions of these hair cells die. Amplifying a dead region with hearing aids makes you hear worse, not better. The result of this study is a hearing clarity breakthrough. Using standard test equipment, dead regions of your cochlea are identified. Then a new type of frequency-shaping hearing aid is programmed to bypass the dead regions. Only your usable hearing hair cells receive amplification. Brilliant. A local study is underway. 100 citizens with hearing problems are needed to receive this testing and then wear the tiny device for 10 days, recording your results. Call now to see if you qualify. Volunteers may keep the product at a special discount if they desire. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
Hi, I'm John Hines. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World is the place you should come for car washes, oil changes, tires. As a matter of fact, anything and everything under the hood of your car. You're in great hands at Bobby and Steve's Auto World, where serving people is the most important part of their business.
Go into Bobby and Steve's Auto World for great savings on all Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. Plus, get $60 on your World Rewards card. Schedule your appointment at BobbyandSteve'sAutoWorld.com or just stop in.
Welcome back to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Patrick Royce, Lou Nanne, and Sid Hartman. Let's move down to the Wild. I mean, this was the cleanest thing we had going in this town coming into 2015 was that the Wild would be kind of the best team and the most competitive. What's happened in the last couple of weeks?
They still might be the best team.
They might be, yeah.
I don't know where you're. Yeah. Well, obviously, they're not playing very well cohesively. They've suffered some key injuries, which really hurts them. They're not deep enough to sustain the kind of injury, taking Parisi out for 11 games, or Son Fontaine out for 11, whatever it is, Scandell out, and Graveback out. Those are.
Is Graveback going to be a player this year?
Yeah, he was. What he gives them is a good third line because he's a big-bodied centerman that they wanted there,
so they can
get a little balance. So it's just that they weren't able to sustain those injuries, but they're not playing. And Dubnyk's not as sharp as he was last year. Let's look at his goals against average. So you need all those things to be working. And right now, if they got to get out of this funk because they could spiral out of here in a hurry again.
Plus, this is a tradition, Louis.
Yeah,
they have now established a tradition. Thanksgiving to Christmas, they stink. The boys they're thinking about the holidays instead of hockey. They'll be fine when you get to January.
Well, if you'd have seen last night in the first period, they were dynamic.
Fantastic.
They were
I saw
terrific.
some of it. Yeah.
And in the second period, they never touched the puck. I thought that when the whistle blew, that Yo was going to throw a puck, and the ice say, we want to play with 1-2. Because Dallas is keeping the puck all themselves.
Why'd they give up 43 or 4 shots? Right?
Yeah, but you could see it coming. In the second period, I said, I don't like this at all.
What do you think?
I'm not happy.
What do you think of 3-on-3?
I love 3-on-3
for 5 minutes.
For 5 minutes, not for 20 like they're going to play in the All-Star game, or 60, I should say. Yeah. They're going to have 3 20s.
But I said this before we went on. You realize how freaky good these guys are when you see that 3-on-3. Holy cow, are they good!
And especially Dallas.
You or Sid take this one. Why did it take Pominville so long to score a goal?
Sid can answer that.
Okay.
You don't have Parisi. That's the reason that I went.
You'll go to that line. He's back though.
Huh?
He was back this weekend.
But he's probably not healthy.
Right.
Okay. But what about Pominville?
Well, he was pressing and you know, it happens to a lot of people, only this one was really extended, 20 games. And then he finally let a blaster go. And the funny part was he had a couple of opportunities before that. Puck was bouncing over his stick, and he missed a couple chances from in close, and he finally put in a slap shot. And then after that, he could have scored again. He could have won the game for them, but wasn't able to do it.
Good thing is they got a lot of help at Iowa, which has only lost 12 in a row last night. So,
well, they're back on pace like last year, huh?
Boy, why is their farm club so rotten? That's got to make you mad if you're the team.
Yeah.
Of course, they own the team, so that's their problem, not some Des Moines guy who. Well,
I would tell you what. I went down there last year, whatever it was, to do a story. That arena that's like playing at the X or the Target Center. It's a great arena.
Yeah.
Well, they've been hurt by the Wild calling up 4 or 5 of their players every game too, and they're not that deep. They've had a couple guys, you know, that stayed in college that they haven't turned pro yet. So they got some talent coming, but it's not there yet.
Alibi.
These hockey guys always alibi for each other. Back after this.
Alibi.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, the Wild, the Timberwolves, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins. Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. For details, go to ticketkingonline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
Take every step without hesitation. Anticipate your next move with certainty. Because our trusted advisors help you prepare for challenges specific to your business. Our focus is always on you, so your focus is always forward. Experience the power of being understood. RSM, Audit, Tax, and Consulting for the Middle Market.
Welcome back to the sports show. Timberwolves, Sydney. They lost today to the Clippers. Overall, you pleased?
Well, you give them a pretty good game until the end.
Alibi.
That Griffin hit everything he threw up there. I'll say one thing, that Sam Mitchell is doing a fantastic job with those guys. And they don't have Rubio. They don't have
Here we go.
big
Alibi.
Pekovic.
Somebody, Mike Rand from our paper tweeted out a picture of Kirk Cousins and a picture of Rubio today and saying they looked alike. And I said, I looked it up and I said, by coincidence, they've both played 11 games this year, too. The Washington quarterback and Rubio, you can't get him on the court.
And they need him on the court.
And that really, Levine's getting better, though. Levine
I
is
got to
getting
tell you,
better.
he is getting better. I was out at the game the other night.
Levine.
And they're not afraid to let him go.
Huh?
They let him go. They let him play.
Oh, yeah.
He is something. He's the biggest surprise. You got to give Flip nothing but credit. May his soul rest in peace. He took Levine, he was second guess. He took Muhammad and Deeg, he was second guess. And then he made
We're down to the last juncture of the show. Look into that camera. Sid, maybe something on the university. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not too surprised because Adam Weber was coaching the quarterback.
We're back to Gopher football now. Go ahead.
Most of the time, and was given credit by the head coach and also the head coach wasn't happy with the offensive line.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing. Escape MSP, the fastest 60 minutes of your life. RSM. This is the power of being understood. This is RSM. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World. Go to BobbyandSteve'sAutoWorld.com for huge savings on everything from convenience store items to everything under the hood of your car.